Real quick poll right off the top here, show of hands down in the comment section. How many of you out there have found recently that it is getting harder and harder to drown out the noise online? No matter what anyone says or whatever political position somebody takes, the first thing you see is someone being angry about it, someone being upset about it, somebody shooting it down. It's almost impossible to filter out. But what if I told you there was a way to do it? There's a technique that you can use. It stops the doom scrolling. It requires a little bit of training. It requires a little bit of mind manipulation on your own part, of your own mind. But it works. And you can start to see the forest for the trees and not have every foray online result in a giant headache. How many of you have experienced this? Where you feel like you're in meltdown from all of the information over nonsense, over things that don't matter. It's something that we talk about specifically, Battlefield of the Mind, over at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel. It's the title of most of our videos. And we go to a different aspect of fighting and winning the war, which means you can begin to see the truth, not just the truth that somebody isn't angry at that moment in time. In today's video here, I'm going to show you a perfect example of how two directly contradicting statements can be believed as true and argued for and against simultaneously. Now, I know that sounds like gobbledygook and like that can't possibly be, but it's happening every day. If you'd like to join us at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel, love to have you over there. God bless all of you who have joined us already. Very, very much appreciate it. Going right into the end of the month here. Here's the best time to join because we're on the reset mode now. We've just gone through another cycle of the 4 levels. We have the Maquis Foot Soldiers at the $2 a month level, the Need to Know Roundtable $5 a month, Unit and Brigade Commanders $10 and $15 a month respectively. We go through a cycle where we do videos for all of those levels. Beginning of the month, we start over again. So it'd be a great time to join. And the best part about it is it's fully refundable. Fully and completely refundable. First 90 days, no questions asked. August, September, October. It'd be Halloween almost before you would have to make a decision and commit one way or the other. Now, without any further delay, let's get right to it. Logic failures. You would think that two directly contradicting statements couldn't possibly be true, much less argued for and against simultaneously. But I'm going to show you one. You ready for this? Your vote matters. Your vote doesn't matter. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are already having Florida Maquis. Selected, not elected. We all know that your vote doesn't matter. Really? So if I started off with this image and I said voting doesn't matter, I guarantee the first set of comments that I would get, oh, Florida Maquis, can you imagine? Can you imagine? I mean, Trump only won by 1.5%. If that had been flipped somehow and we had Kamala Harris as president, can you imagine? The sky would have darkened immediately and all of the crops would have failed and we'd be starving and it'd be... That's what you would get. And it would be an argument that says voting matters. Oh, Maquis, it was so close. It was only 1.5%. I know Trump likes to call it a landslide, but it really was only 1.5% in the total popular vote. Which brings you to another point of voting not mattering because of the Electoral College. You see, that's the point. But then, when it comes to the Epstein files, oh, Florida Maquis, don't you know? Voting, selected, not elected, voting doesn't matter. They're all a bunch of pedos up in Washington. So we just have to pick the best of all of the different pedos. It's really what, yeah, you see, it doesn't matter because Biden would have bombed Iran and Trump wasn't going to start any new wars, but he bombed Iran anyway. And Israel's continuing their genocide over in Palestine. And then, of course, he was going to have Doge cut back on spending, and we were going to start to get things. Of course, now it's $3.5 trillion more to the debt, big beautiful bill, all this kind of stuff. And if voting doesn't matter, Maquis, we know. But wait, voting matters. Voting matters. God saved Trump. Don't you remember when somebody tried to kill him and God sent down an angel and they deflected the bullet away into that evil, terrible, horrible guy in the stands? I mean, who knows what he was going to do in the future? So I mean, God clearly acted here. So it matters. But if God saved Trump to save America, voting shouldn't matter, right? Because it was God's destiny that Trump be in charge. So there's nothing you could have done to stop it anyway. Or when Trump decided that he's going to give amnesty now to all of these people who, as long as they have jobs for in the farming industry and hotel and leisure, that they're going to get a pass. Their illegal presence here isn't as illegal as people who are actually committing crimes. Well, you see, that's it, Mucky. You're half right and you're half wrong. What we're going to do is we're going to go to America Party. We're going to join Elon Musk, and we're going to have our own government. It's going to have blackjack and hookers. And do you see how you can argue both points simultaneously? I can make a video every other day. One day saying your vote matters. The next day saying your vote doesn't matter. I could make a video every other day. One saying, well, if Kamala Harris had won this, and this. And then the next day make a video saying, well, if Trump won this, and this. Or lost. And you think I'm the one running the psychological operation. I'm not in charge of X. I'm not in charge of all of the other platforms out there where people argue back and forth these contradictory things every single day. Here's another great point. Throughout all of history, if you had gone up to the vast majority of people in the world, now I'm talking all of history, and said, I will give you a loaf of bread every day if you ask me, or I will give you an ounce of gold every day if you ask me. The vast majority of people throughout history would have taken the loaf of bread. Because the vast majority of people throughout history have struggled providing food for themselves and for their families. The idea of being able to get up every morning and go down to a bakery shop and have themselves handed a loaf of bread every day for the rest of their life, they would have thought that it was better than anything but gold. Maybe somebody will take gold. Maybe somebody won't. Maybe somebody will rob you of your gold. And you've lost it. But you take your bread, you hand it to your family, and you feed your family. You can't be robbed at that point. Now, there are some, in the modern world that we live in, where food is plentiful and it's everywhere, of course, people would take the gold. But not for most of history is the case. And I don't have to tell people how expensive things are getting. This is just an image that I created that shows just how bad it has gotten. People are out there right now struggling to feed their families. And even in most grocery stores, you would have to go someplace first, convert your gold into cash. I know for a fact you can't go into Publix right now and hand a 1 ounce bar of gold to a cashier and pay for your groceries. You can't do that at any Publix that I know of in Florida. Can you do that? Can you go pay for food with gold? So if you had a choice of the buggy full of groceries or the ounce of gold, you'd have to take the buggy full of groceries if you were hungry enough. Now, I'm sure I already have a bunch of people typing. Remember the Florida Maquis Patreon channel where we talk about the 24 cognitive biases and the 24 logical fallacies? This is one of the biases. It's a backfire effect. When your core beliefs are challenged, like voting matters, Trump was the obvious choice, we couldn't have had Kamala, it would have been the end of our country, or gold is worth more than bread. When you challenge someone's core beliefs, you can cause them to believe it even more strongly. You see, here's another great example. Florida Maquis. I can't believe you showed this picture. It's a good thing now that American Eagle Outfitters has gotten over their woke nonsense and they're going back to... Think about this just for a minute. There are conservatives out there now who are applauding the idea of girls modeling like this because it's not woke. See, it's not someone who's overweight or a person of color or some other thing, somebody who looks awful in a pair of jeans just because of who they are. It's somebody who looks good in a pair of jeans. So now conservatives are applauding this. But before the woke movement, they were against stuff like this. But to my mind, having grown up in the denim era in the 80s and 90s, she doesn't even look good in denim, comparatively speaking. How many of you have looked at this and wait a minute? The jean and denim models of the past, Cindy Crawford, Shania Twain, from the video Kerosene, Miranda Lambert, if you want to see a girl rock a pair of jeans, watch that video. Or if you want to see a girl really absolutely own a pair of jeans, tune into the series Revolution. I'm not sure what platform has it. Tracy Spiridakos sets a new standard for how you wear a pair of jeans in that series. But point being, this looks like some little girl found her mom's or dad's old denims from the 80s that are 3 sizes too big and she crawled into them. It looks terrible. Comparatively speaking. You see, you have to compare apples to apples. But when you compare apples to, the wokeness, then it's something entirely different. So once again, 2 contradictory things being the exact equivalent at the same time, depending on how you look at it. Most people probably stayed up last night waiting for some make-believe tsunami. Where are all the videos? We've seen some videos that are grainy and from a distance of, some places in Hawaii. But there was, largest earthquake ever, going to be a giant tsunami. Where? You see, in this particular image I'm sharing here, your vote doesn't matter. See, in Florida, it's such a red state now, it wouldn't matter if I voted at all, if I voted left, or if I voted right. Wouldn't matter, because the state in Florida right now is so overwhelmingly conservative to the right. No one individual vote matters. It doesn't matter if the win is by 1 million votes or the win is by 500,000 votes or by 1 vote. The 29 electoral college votes go to the right. And that's the case in the vast majority of states. So I ask the question again. Does voting matter? The idea of amnesty to illegals? The idea of bombing Iran? The cost of groceries? The Epstein files? Does it matter? The big, beautiful bill? Does it matter? You see some just look at the picture and say, well, yes, of course it. But then there's probably a lot of people saying, no, it doesn't. This is the key. This is what psychological operations is all about. Down in the description box, you'll find links to all 4 levels at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel. Love to have you over there. It is never too late to start training. It is never too late to start training. 6 months from now, you can have 6 months of excuses or 6 months of progress. Let me say it again. If you start now, 6 months from now, you can have 6 months of excuses or 6 months of progress. Love to have you over there. Fully refundable, 90 days, no questions asked. Hundreds of videos, going back years and years and years. God bless. Pray for each other. Lift each other up. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.